One of the key takeaways from my research is that schools sit within this broader web of external relationships and an external environment that ends up shaping its priorities. So think of the community the school's in, the higher ed institutions where they send their students after graduation, the policy context that they sit within. All of those external players shape what a school has to prioritize in order to keep its doors open and keep attracting students. When I make that point, there's usually two takeaways that people walk away with. The first one, and the one I try to emphasize, is that in order to reinvent schooling, you really need to step outside of that web and create a new space where new models of schooling can emerge and evolve with a different set of priorities. But a lot of people are really invested in schools as they exist today. And so their takeaway is often, well, can't we just take that web and advocate and pass policies and bring the community together in order to get people to shift the priorities of what they want from school so that we can innovate in a new direction? And I'll say that that approach can have some success at making minor tweaks and minor adjustments to the way schools operate, but you really can't reinvent schooling if you go down that road. The challenge is that when you try to shift the priorities of that web, most of the people that are part of that system are still invested in some of the things that system does. In fact, some of the things that system is still doing well and still delivering for the people that are involved in it. And so when you try and shift the priorities, those new priorities end up just competing in this complicated, messy set of priorities, and you end up having to compromise a lot. You know, your priorities usually don't get first or second billing in terms of their ranking in the broader set of priorities of what the school has to accomplish. It's still trying to do the things it has historically done and just layer on some new things in addition, and that ends up diluting the overall opportunities and prospects for radical, new, innovative approaches. And so, yes, can you innovate by shifting the priorities? To a degree, but if you really want to reinvent schooling, it just doesn't work to try and do that in a context where you're constantly bumping into and competing with established priorities of an existing environment that a school is set up to operate within.